is underperforming?
I think with the new coach came from where?
He was at Ajax.
I was in Ajax also. Ajax is a talented club. They have the best talents in the club. They don't have big stars. What is the experience of this coach? Young talents. He comes to United. United is different mentality, different players. So the players there supposed to be big stars.
Ibrahimovic here talking exclusively to Piers Morgan. And in this segment is addressing the problems at Manchester United and the question surrounding Erik ten Hag. Is he out of his depth? Is he the reason that Man United have 5 defeats in their opening 9 Premier League games? Hit like buttons, by the way, subscribe. Let's take a listen to some more of what Ibrahimovic has to say.
So I think with his experience being there, I don't know if it talks for him or not. Because I think he's in a different situation. And then above him, there is a gap where he doesn't get the help to manage the team. Listen, this is what I read in the paper. So it's not I have all the situation that is happening. But I can just imagine him coming from Ajax to United is a big difference because I've been in both clubs. You manage talents, upgrowing, is different kind of approach because there you have a different kind of discipline. You come to United, you do the same thing. I don't know, I don't believe, and I don't think it's the same treatment you give.
I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, when he gave the interview to me when he left United, he said that he felt he didn't have the respect of Erik ten Hag. You see with Jadon Sancho now a similar situation, ten Hag criticising him in public and so on. Maybe that is an illustration of his problems in managing big talent.
But I don't say it's the coach's fault. Because
it's really interesting listening to this because I've seen snippets online today. I didn't know this was coming out. And I thought, oh, no, it's another person going in on Ten Hag. So far, I don't disagree with anything Zlatan has said. He's mentioned the gap between management and ownership and that being a big problem at Man United. We all know this, the Glazers. He's also talking here about, yeah, the manager might be struggling, but it's not his fault. Let's listen to his rationale and reason as to why.
Because experience you cannot buy. You just have to get time to get the experience. But it's 2 different situations, being in Ajax, being in United. Then if it's his fault, I don't think. Because I think everybody has a responsible in the whole situation. We are a piece of puzzle from the big puzzle. So everybody have a responsibility to do.
Very interesting there. We're all responsible. The manager's not at fault for Sancho's situation. Yeah, he maybe didn't have to go publicly, but Sancho's got to be responsible for himself. Ronaldo for himself. The manager for himself. And there's an element here where it can't all be on one person. But he is right. And one of the things I said about Ten Hag when he came in is there's question marks over him. He's never managed in a league as tough as the Premier League. He's never been at a club the size of Man United in 2023. Ajax are historically huge. They're historical giants. I wouldn't call them minnows in 2023, but they are certainly not the powerhouse they once were of European football. There is a fundamental difference, and it's going to take the manager time to navigate himself through the mistakes, through the trials and tribulations of being at a club like this. The question is, do the fans and the owners have the patience to allow that to happen?
And to fulfill the demands. United has to win. They have to win every title they play for. Now they're being dominated by the neighbors, and it's a totally different situation there.
And again, I've seen that quote go around. That's the first thing that I realized. That was the first quote I saw that made me want to go and seek out this content and watch it. And yeah, historically, Man United have to win everything. Am I lowering the standards by saying we're not that Man United anymore? Fans want to be, and we want to uphold those standards. But if we're not being run in a way that is going to enable us to get back to that level, although we want to have those standards, is it right to hold every player and manager accountable to those standards if the football club in itself is not operating in a way to achieve them? there's a balance here. There is a balance. I may want my children to get the best grades available to them at school. But if I'm filling them full of junk food, allowing them to sleep whenever they want, they can stay up late, they get up early, they've got no regiment, no regime, no schedule they stick to. If I'm not keeping an eye on their schoolwork, if at the end of their school life they flunk, yeah, but I've got high standards, why didn't you live up to them? Is what I'm practicing, is my methodology correct to achieve those high standards? And that's just something that goes through my head a lot when it comes to Man United. We want to be up here. We want to compete. We want to be the best. But have we actually got the breeding ground to do it? That doesn't mean the fans shouldn't demand it. But are we demanding achievements at a standard that every manager and player that have joined our club in the last 10 years has the inability to achieve due to multiple factors that Zlatan has discussed here?
And you need to find the right path again and to push for that. Now I think you need a plan, you need a project to follow. And it feels like you follow a project plan and then it goes wild in a moment because of the results. Either you believe in it or you don't believe in it.
And that's also another great point. You know, I've said in recent shows, I'm going to criticize the manager's mistakes, but I still want to give him a time to show us what he can do with the players that he has purchased. Is there an argument to say an inexperienced manager at this level just needs time to circumnavigate his mistakes and his problems? Or are we living in a world where one mistake, two mistakes, you've got your strikes, you're out you go, we bring somebody new in? Are we ever going to get back to that level of standard we want by continually chopping and changing managers? I'm not arguing here, I'm asking questions. Very interesting from Zlatan.
So, but with the situation of the coach, I think he's living two different situations now. Then obviously what happened with Sancho and Cristiano, I don't know, because...
Do you think he's out of his depth a bit, Ten Hag?
I think he needs more time to get the experience, how to handle a team.
But you don't really get time at a club like United.
No, obviously not, because we need to win.
That's the reality.
You come to when I was in Milan, I cannot give you time to develop, to perform. You need to perform straight, because like I said, survival mode. It's you or another one, because United is in a situation you don't do good enough, the next day there is another one. And the result speaks for itself.
And I understand that. I completely understand what Zlatan's saying. That is still how we treat Man United. The big question is should we? Should we? And I know what some people will say in the comments, I'm trying to lower the standards. That isn't true. I want the standards to get back up to the top. But I don't believe those standards are achievable based on multiple factors. Therefore, to hold my team and managers to that nth degree standard straight away almost feels a little bit nonsensical, maybe. However, you have to win, you have to progress. And that's why I've said this season, I'm disappointed, so disappointed to lose 5 of 9. I don't believe that's acceptable, irrespective of what's gone on with the Glazers, with Sancho, etc. Especially some of the teams we've lost to and some of the performances. And the manager's got to start to turn this round. Then he'll get that time. I would assume. But it's such an intriguing interview listening to Zlatan here, who is, I think, probably the most balanced words I've heard around Man United and Ten Hag in a long time. There's the pressure because you're United and you've got to win. The standards are high. But equally, there's big problems here. There's an experience in the manager. And without giving him time to resolve these issues, make mistakes and learn from them, maybe we'll never get back to those standards that you're talking about. Because who are these experienced managers who can come in and turn us around and get us winning straight away? We've tried that twice before, hasn't worked. We've tried inexperienced managers, hasn't worked. We've tried managers like Ten Hag's and David Moyes, who have had experience, but not at the elite end of the spectrum in the era they're from. And so far, that hasn't worked, according to most people. So what is the answer? And I'm not looking to argue with you or fight. I want to understand your opinions here. Let me know in the comments section below. Brilliant interview here from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Chat to you all again soon. Take care, people. Bye.